Have you ever stopped to wonder what happens when divine power meets human existence? Picture this. In a world filled with shadows and doubt, God sends forth his celestial beings, angels, not just as messengers, but as formidable warriors of light, carrying out his will and protecting us from unseen forces. But what exactly do these terrifyingly powerful beings look like? You might be surprised to learn that throughout the Bible, angels are often described with awe-inspiring strength and purpose, striking both fear and hope in the hearts of those they touch. Are you ready to discover the incredible roles these heavenly sentinels play in our lives? Stick around as we dive deep into their mysteries, and don't forget to subscribe. We want to hear from you in the comments below. Where are you from, and what miracles has Jesus performed in your life? Remember, Jesus will bless you and be with you always, so stay tuned for more. In considering the realm of spiritual beings, popular culture has often painted angels as benign, ethereal entities with gentle faces and comforting wings, perpetually poised to offer aid and solace. This perception, albeit comforting, only skims the surface of the complex and awe-inspiring nature of these celestial beings as depicted in sacred scriptures. Angels are uniquely crafted entities, made by the hand of God long before humans were breathed into life. Their existence is as ancient as it is mysterious, traversing the realms of heaven and earth, fulfilling divine mandates with a reverent adherence to their Creator's will. To grasp the true essence of angels, one must look beyond cherubic depictions and delve into their profound roles as described in the Bible. If we turn our attention to Isaiah 6, we are introduced to a vision of the divine court, wherein seraphim, a type of angelic being, stand in the presence of God. These seraphim bear 6 wings and, in unfaltering devotion, they call out, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty, the whole earth is full of his glory." This striking image reveals that one of the quintessential roles of angels is the unending worship and adoration of God. Their very existence glorifies the divine, and their presence underscores the majesty of God's holy and boundless nature. Yet, the role of angels extends far beyond mere adoration. They are also messengers of great import, sent to deliver messages that span life-altering revelations to the simplest of divine truths. Angels were present to announce the birth of Christ to Mary in the New Testament, acting as sacred conduits through which God's intentions were communicated directly to humankind. Hebrews 1:14 reminds us, "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" This suggests a committed guardianship and a responsibility that these beings hold in guiding and protecting chosen individuals. Apart from their roles as worshippers and messengers, angels wield a formidable authority in executing God's judgment, a trait often overlooked or misunderstood. In the book of Revelation 4, we read of heavenly beings enacting God's end-time plans, revealing a capacity for justice that is swift and irrevocable. These angels do not act from malice, but from a place of divine duty, executing the decrees of heaven with unwavering loyalty and precision. Their rigid obedience to God's commands can manifest in actions as gentle as guidance or as terrifying as judgment. Furthermore, angels engage in the ongoing cosmic struggle against evil forces, a testament to their prowess as spiritual warriors. In Daniel 10, we encounter a celestial skirmish where the archangel Michael assists in the conflict between good and evil. This incident unveils a sacrificial role where angels battle in unseen realms, safeguarding humanity from adversities that lie beyond mortal perception. It is a reassurance to believers that they are not alone in their spiritual journey, for an invisible army stands waged against the powers of darkness. These multifaceted roles illuminate the complexity of angelic beings, refuting superficial understandings and encouraging a profound respect for their divine purpose. As creations distinct from humans, angels operate within a celestial hierarchy designed by God, possessing individual abilities and roles, each integral to the harmony of the heavenly order. They remind us of God's omnipresence and omnipotence, emphasizing that humanity is part of a broader, magnificently orchestrated creation. Through their interactions with humankind, angels embody a bridge to the divine, signifying the pervasive nature of God's influence and the interconnectedness of all things sacred. As we contemplate the formidable nature of angels, it is essential to appreciate their unwavering allegiance to God's will, acknowledging that their actions, sometimes feared and awe-inspiring, serve a greater purpose within the divine narrative. Their existence beckons us to recognize the broader spiritual realities that are frequently unseen, yet crucial components of our faith journey. So, as we pivot toward exploring specific narratives such as the tradition of the angel of death in Exodus or the deeper implications of angelic warfare, let us carry forward this understanding. Angels are majestic, fearsome, and ultimately instruments of God's undeniable power and love. In the book of Exodus, a chilling narrative unfolds, a night that would be etched into the fabric of history and remembered as the first Passover. This event illustrates the fearsome might of an angelic figure known as the Destroyer, or the Angel of Death, who was tasked with carrying out God's will on a night of divine retribution in Egypt. When God sent Moses to deliver the Israelites from slavery, Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and plague after plague struck Egypt. But it was the final plague, the most devastating, that brought Pharaoh to his knees. The backdrop to this story is one of oppression and divine intervention. The Israelites, enslaved and suffering under Egyptian rule, cried out to God for deliverance. God responded through Moses, bringing upon Egypt a series of plagues, each a divine warning designed to compel Pharaoh to release the Hebrew people. The resistance of Pharaoh, described as a hard heart, set the stage for the ultimate act of God's judgment, a night called Passover. God instructed Moses to have each Israelite family slaughter a spotless lamb and mark their doorposts with its blood. This sign would be the mark of protection as the destroyer passed through Egypt, executing judgment by striking down every firstborn son in households not marked by the blood. It was a horrifying night of loss for those unprotected, as cries of grief echoed across a nation brought to its knees. The blood of the lamb was not just a mark, but a foreshadowing of salvation, a divine provision sparing the Israelites from the devastating judgment. The angel of death, or Mashit in Hebrew tradition, serves as an embodiment of God's uncompromising justice. This angelic being is referenced across various ancient cultures, illustrating the universal resonance of the concept of divine retribution. In many traditions, angels executing divine judgment symbolize a bridge between humanity and the divine, where celestial forces intervene in human affairs in ways that are both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The idea of the destroyer is not limited to the biblical text alone. In Jewish tradition, Mashit is sometimes envisioned as a specific angel who carries out tasks of destruction, acting solely under divine command and reflecting God's ultimate authority over life and death. The precision of this angel's assignment during Passover underscores the intersection between divine mercy and justice, where protection is offered to those under God's covenant while judgment befalls others. The Passover event also points to a deeper theological narrative, one that reveals the nature of obedience and faith. The blood on the doorposts represented a profound act of trust in God's instructions, a decisive belief that separated life from death. It also foreshadowed future redemptive themes found in Christian theology, where the concept of being passed over due to sacrificial blood finds fulfillment in the New Testament narrative of Christ's sacrifice. In studying the roles of angels within the biblical framework, the story of the destroyer compels us to recognize the reality of divine justice, reminding us that angels are not merely gentle, comforting beings, but also formidable executors of God's will. Such narratives invite reflection on the nature of God, merciful yet just, loving yet righteous. The angel of death's role encompasses more than the act of destruction. It is a call to understanding the depth of God's sovereignty and the profound implications of faith and obedience in face of divine mandate. Thus, the narrative of the destroyer challenges contemporary perceptions by revealing a duality in the divine character, mercy extended through divine instructions and relentless justice executed by angelic hands. It is a haunting reminder that while the physical stringencies of biblical stories may be foreign to us, the spiritual truths they convey continue to resonate. The weight of choices, the call to faith, and the overarching power of divine authority. Exploring these angelic figures, we find in their stories an illumination of the complex dance between heaven and earth, judgment and salvation, articulated in pages that have endured across generations. As we continue on our journey through some of the most fearsome angelic encounters recorded in the Bible, we shift our focus from the devastating work of the angel of death to an equally formidable and awe-inspiring figure, the angel of the Lord. This mysterious and powerful being has appeared at critical moments throughout biblical history, serving as an instrument of divine will and often inducing both awe and dread. One of the most striking instances of the angel of the Lord's intervention is captured in the harrowing account of the Assyrian army's demise during the reign of King Hezekiah, recorded in 2 Kings 19. To fully grasp this encounter's significance, it is essential first to understand the context in which it occurred. King Hezekiah, a ruler noted for his faith and commitment to purifying the worship practices of Judah, faced one of the most daunting challenges of his reign. The formidable Assyrian Empire, known for its military prowess and ruthless expansion tactics, threatened the very survival of Jerusalem. Assyria's king Sennacherib had already ravaged nearby territories and openly mocked Hezekiah's faith, dismissing Judah's God as powerless against his forces. Under significant pressure and confronted with the possibility of annihilation, Hezekiah turned to the Lord in desperation, seeking divine intervention against the overwhelming odds he faced. In response to Hezekiah's faithful plea, the prophet Isaiah delivered a reassuring message. The Lord had heard his prayer and would act to save his people. This assurance set the stage for the dramatic events that were to unfold. On a night that would forever stand testament to divine power, the angel of the Lord made a terrifying appearance. The narrative in 2 Kings 19:35 is stark and gripping. That night, the angel of the Lord went out and put to death 185,000 in the Assyrian camp. When the people got up the next morning, there were all the dead bodies. This single verse encapsulates the power and mystery of the angel of the Lord, highlighting the magnitude of the devastation wrought and the sheer awe of divine intervention. The angel of the Lord's actions during this night have been the subject of much theological discussion and interpretation. Some scholars posit that this angel, unlike other angelic beings, represents a theophany, a visible manifestation of God himself. Others suggest this figure might be a pre-incarnate appearance of the Messiah, revealing an aspect of divine nature that foreshadows Christ's ultimate triumph over evil. The debate over the angel of the Lord's identity adds to the gravity and intrigue of the encounter, emphasizing the enigmatic blend of mercy and judgment at work. This cataclysmic event is illustrative of one of the central themes of the Bible, God's willingness to protect his covenant people, often through means beyond human comprehension. The angel's intervention saved Judah from seemingly insurmountable odds, reinforcing the message of divine fidelity and the power of fervent prayer. Yet, it also underscores a sobering truth about the nature of divine judgment. God's interventions, while delivering salvation for his people, often come at a significant cost to those opposing his will. The striking narrative of the angel of the Lord and the Assyrian army invites reflection on the potency of God's presence and the reverence due to his name. It challenges us to ponder the relationship between divine providence and human agency, considering how faith and reliance on God can alter the course of history in unexpected ways. As we transition to our next exploration of angelic might, embodied in the warrior figure of Michael the Archangel, the tale of the angel of the Lord's encounter with the Assyrian soldiers remains a powerful testament to the complex and fearsome nature of divine intervention. It serves as a poignant reminder that though God's ways are inscrutable, they are founded on justice, mercy, and the ultimate fulfillment of His purposes. Michael the Archangel stands as one of the most formidable figures in the heavenly hierarchy, a warrior angel whose presence reverberates through both biblical scripture and extra-biblical literature. Unlike the quiet yet potent angel of the Lord we previously discussed, whose solitary strike laid waste to an Assyrian army, Michael's warfare is distinctly panoramic and cosmic, taking place on the battleground of heaven itself. In the pivotal scene of Revelation 12, Michael emerges not just as an angel, but as a celestial commander, leading the armies of heaven in a timeless struggle against Satan. Here, the text depicts a dramatic clash, an epic battle of divine light against the forces of darkness. Michael and his angels wage war against the dragon, a symbol of Satan, in a confrontation that signifies not only a struggle for the heavens, but a reverberating battle for the cosmos itself. This battle echoes through millennia, portraying a struggle that reaches beyond the confines of the earthly domain and taps into the very essence of good versus evil. This cosmic duel is not simply about physical might, but represents the spiritual authority that Michael holds. His name, translating to "who is like God," suggests more than just a rhetorical question. It is a challenge and an affirmation of his unwavering allegiance to the divine. Unlike Satan, whose name means adversary, Michael's essence is imbued with a fidelity that directly confronts rebellion. This comparison highlights a balance of celestial justice, elevating Michael's role from mere heavenly sentinel to a divine enforcer of God's will. Jewish traditions enrich our understanding of Michael, further illustrating his role as a protector and a patron of Israel. Unlike the singular, decisive intervention of the angel of the Lord, Michael's protective duties are enduring and pervasive. In the book of Daniel, he appears as the great prince who stands guard over the sons of Israel, underscoring his enduring commitment to protect God's people. Such narratives give depth to his character as a constant defender, contrasting the temporary, albeit thunderous, interventions typical of singular angelic appearances. Moreover, Michael's protective legacy extends into extra-biblical texts, such as the Book of Enoch, where he takes a frontline stance against demonic forces. This text portrays him as a stalwart guardian who curtails the spread of malevolence and preserves divine order. In one such account, Michael binds demonic entities, thus safeguarding humanity from chaos. Unlike the lethal force of the angel of the Lord against the Assyrians, Michael's battles are sustained campaigns against spiritual and moral decay, which reiterate his role as an eternal guardian. The presence of Michael in such narratives reveals more than an avenging angel. It illustrates a portrayal of celestial diplomacy. He's depicted in Jewish thought not just as a warrior, but as an intercessor and a figure of divine advocacy. His participation in heavenly councils, his constant vigilance over Israel, and his leadership in the spiritual realm position him as an angel with profound responsibility, tasked with executing God's justice while acting as a shield for the chosen people. Herein lies the distinction, a dynamic between an angel, whose appearances incite immediate transformation, and one whose presence signals enduring vigilance and defense. As Michael faces demonic forces, we are reminded that the battles of paradise resonate deeply within the earthly realm, shifting tectonic plates of spiritual opposition to align with divine harmony. Transitioning to the next chapter's focus, the Archangel Raphael embodies another facet of celestial intervention, a juxtaposition of gentle healing and relentless demon-slaying, much like Michael's chase against iniquity. Yet Raphael's interventions, as we'll explore, infuse the narrative with personal, earthly experiences that contrast with Michael's cosmic endeavors. Through these various emissaries, the heavens unveil a divine spectrum of roles that angels enact, each unique and integral to the tapestry of God's plan. In the expansive tapestry of celestial beings woven throughout biblical lore, few angels carry the dual mantle of healer and warrior as convincingly as Raphael. His tale is one of deep intrigue and divine intervention, found predominantly in the apocryphal Book of Tobit, a narrative often overshadowed by more widely recognized biblical texts. Raphael's exploits as the demon slayer speak to his distinctive role, combining compassion with formidable might to act as a guardian against darkness. Raphael emerges as a remarkable character with a mission as divine as it is personal. The story of Tobit and his family serves as the backdrop for Raphael's intervention. In the city of Ecbatana lives Sarah, a woman plagued by a malevolent demon named Asmodeus. This demon is notorious for having strangled her 7 successive husbands on their wedding nights, leaving Sarah in despair and shame. Her plight is one not only of personal anguish, but of societal and familial disgrace, reflecting the ancient world's harsh judgments on women. This is the stage Raphael enters, a world where his dual roles as a healer and protector are desperately needed. Sent by God in answer to the prayers of both Tobit and Sarah, Raphael is disguised in human form, accompanying Tobit's son, Tobias, on a journey that serves multiple divine purposes. Raphael's law as a healer is firmly established when he instructs Tobias to catch a fish whose heart, liver, and gallbladder are to be used for miraculous remedies. These seemingly ordinary organs become pivotal in the angel's divine plan. The narrative tension crescendos when Raphael guides Tobias in using the fish's liver and heart to ward off and eventually bind Asmodeus. On Tobias's wedding night, with prayer and divine aid, the demon is exorcised and chased to the wilderness of Upper Egypt, where Raphael binds him, neutralizing his terror. This act of both physical and spiritual deliverance depicts Raphael not only as a healer, but as an unparalleled demon slayer. His method is less of brute force and more of divine strategy, showcasing an angelic arsenal that utilizes creation itself, elements of nature transformed into instruments of God's will. Moreover, Raphael's intervention is not limited to the exorcism of Asmodeus. His role extends as a guide and protector through Tobias's journey, healing Tobit's blindness and restoring joy and peace to a family under siege by misfortune. Raphael's presence is a gentle yet firm reminder of divine providence, symbolizing hope and redemption. He effortlessly transitions from a celestial being to an empathetic guide, embodying the principle that divine beings are ever present to support and steer humanity through life's trials. The story concludes with the revelation of Raphael's true identity. He declares himself one of the 7 angels who stand in the presence of the Lord, a testament to his high rank and esteemed role in the celestial hierarchy. This revelation encapsulates the merging of the human and divine realms, a hallmark of angelic intervention that leaves a profound impact on Tobias, his family, and future generations who would come to know Raphael's story as an emblem of hope. In the vast array of angelic figures, Raphael stands unique in his embodiment of both healing and destructive powers wielded for good. His presence in the Bible may be apocryphal, yet his story resonates across religious traditions, finding echoes in clergy discussions, theological studies, and the hearts of believers. He bridges the gap between heaven and earth, invoking the divine not only to protect, but also to heal and transform. Raphael's narrative is a crucial component of the broader cosmic battle between good and evil, a struggle in which angels like Michael, previously discussed, and angels like Uriel, who will follow, each play integral roles. While Michael implements celestial warfare on a grand scale, Raphael performs his miracles on a more intimate human level, showcasing the multifaceted nature of divine intervention through angels in biblical literature. His story helps unfold the comprehensive characteristics angels possess, serving as protectors, healers, and, most intriguingly, demon slayers. Continuing from the vibrant account of Raphael's legendary defeat of Asmodeus, we now delve into the enigmatic figure of Uriel, one of the most intriguing and complex angels depicted in biblical and apocryphal texts. Uriel is often revered as the angel of fire and judgment, a divine messenger tasked with delivering harrowing truths and illuminating the hidden paths of God's will. His presence is noted in several ancient writings, where he emerges as a vigilant overseer of celestial order, a guardian of divine mysteries, and a harbinger of prophetic warnings. Uriel's origins and significance are rooted in apocryphal literature, most notably in 2 Esdras and the Book of Enoch. These texts offer a glimpse into the cosmic responsibilities he bears. In the Book of Enoch, Uriel embodies the role of a judicial figure, one who administers heavenly judgment and mediates divine truths to humanity. As one of the primary archangels, Uriel is entrusted with daunting missions that include unveiling celestial secrets and issuing divine warnings, acts that underscore his dual nature as both a beacon of light and an instrument of justice. In the Book of Enoch, Uriel is depicted as a mighty authoritative presence. He is entrusted with overseeing the chaotic entities and rebellious angels confined in a hellish realm. In this daunting task, Uriel serves as an unwavering custodian, ensuring that cosmic balance remains unperturbed by the malevolent forces that threaten divine harmony. His duties resonate as a testament to his unwavering commitment to maintaining the sacred order of creation, reflecting the complexities of divine justice. Uriel's association with fire symbolizes his purifying and enlightening capabilities. This element not only signifies destruction and wrath, but also represents illumination and transformation. With fire, Uriel reveals the darkest corners of the human heart, presenting unwelcome truths to those facing pivotal moments of choice and consequence. His fiery nature is a reminder that divine mercy is often coupled with judgment, emphasizing repentance and spiritual renewal. The presence of Uriel extends beyond his celestial oversight. Within the pages of 2 Esdras, Uriel is portrayed as the ultimate guide to humanity during its moments of crisis. Here, he appears to the prophet Ezra, offering profound insights into the mysteries of the divine plan and the resplendent future awaiting the faithful. Uriel's role is to clarify inquiries of cosmic significance, providing answers that unravel divine cosmic enigmas. His interactions with Ezra highlight his function as a conduit between the divine and the mortal realm, embodying a beacon of hope amid the uncertainties and trials faced by humanity. Uriel's involvement in human affairs is further illustrated through his delivery of somber warnings. In religious texts, he often assumes the role of a divine herald, issuing cautionary messages to prevent impending catastrophes. Acting as a bridge between heaven and earth, Uriel intervenes at critical junctures to redirect paths towards righteousness. His admonitions, though often severe, stem from a divine love that seeks to sidestep humanity's propensity towards self-destruction. His role as a guardian of sacred knowledge also affords Uriel a unique position within the angelic hierarchy. He safeguards the wisdom that transcends human comprehension, ensuring that the courses of the cosmos remain in alignment with divine will. The responsibility conferred upon Uriel signifies the depth of trust placed in him, as he navigates the complexities of both celestial guardianship and human engagement. In mythology and theology alike, Uriel's vivid presence reverberates as a constant reminder of divine justice and mercy, offering both guidance and judgment. His manifestations in scriptural texts affirm the inseparable bond between truth and consequence, upholding the principles of eternal vigilance and divine grace. Uriel's portrayal as an ardent torchbearer, illuminating paths shrouded in darkness, serves to reinforce the transformative power of divine truth. Continuing from Raphael's role as a fierce yet compassionate protector, Uriel emerges as an embodiment of divine authority and foresight. His intercessory actions not only highlight the multifaceted nature of angelic duties, but also illuminate the persistent theme of spiritual accountability prevalent throughout sacred texts. As a beacon of light amid the shadowed corridors of human existence, Uriel stands as a testament to the enduring principles of divine wisdom and judgment. As we journey through the pages of biblical history, it becomes apparent that angels play crucial and sometimes terrifying roles in the unfolding of God's divine plan. We've encountered Uriel, the angel of fire, a celestial being who comes forth bearing light and judgment. and yet warns us of impending doom should we ignore divine commands. But in the tapestry of angelic interventions sprinkled through these sacred texts, there is one narrative that stands out, not because of a fiery confrontation or a sweeping judgment, but due to its peculiar circumstances involving Balaam, a seer who found himself face to face with an angel of God. Our narrative today centers on an episode from Numbers 22 in the Old Testament, a unique event characterized by confusion, confrontation, and divine intervention. The story unfolds with Balak, the king of Moab, desperately seeking Balaam's services to curse the Israelites, who were encamped on his land and filling him with fear. Balaam, a non-Israelite prophet, was renowned for his power to bless and curse, and Balak hoped that with Balaam's influence, the Israelites could be vanquished. However, God had other plans. He instructed Balaam not to curse the Israelites, for they were his chosen people, blessed and under divine protection. Initially, Balaam heeded this instruction. Yet, enticed by the king's persistent and lucrative offers, Balaam set out on his donkey with Moabite officials to meet Balak, hoping to find a loophole in God's injunction. Balaam's greed and wavering fidelity set the stage for a dramatic divine intervention. As Balaam traveled, something extraordinary occurred. An angel of the Lord, imbued with celestial authority and armed with a drawn sword, stood as an adversary along Balaam's path. This angel was invisible to Balaam's eyes, but not to those of his donkey. The animal, driven by an unseen fear, veered from the road, pressed against a wall, and ultimately lay down, refusing to proceed. Its actions flabbergasted Balaam, who, in a fit of frustration, struck the donkey. What unfolds next is a rare and wondrous moment where the natural order bends to accommodate divine will. The donkey speaks. "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times?" it inquires, revealing a consciousness directed by divine purpose. This miraculous exchange underscores a pivotal theme. True perception and insight are not always aligned with human expectation or authority. The narrative illustrates an incredible irony. While the seer, a man supposed to have great insight, is blind to the divine revelation before him, the lowly donkey perceives the celestial messenger's presence. Here, the angel's role is not of immediate judgment or destruction, but rather as a stern guardian set on redirecting Balaam, illuminating the path that is righteous and approved by God. It is a vivid portrayal of divine patience paired with unwavering assertiveness. When Balaam's spiritual eyes were finally opened, the sight of the angel armed with a sword served as a sobering revelation. The angel declared, "I have come here to oppose you, because your path is a reckless one before me." It was a stark reminder of the seriousness of Balaam's intentions and the celestial consequences of straying from God's commands. The angel's intervention serves not only as a blockade against wrongdoing, but as an embodiment of divine grace, offering Balaam a chance to repent and correct his course. This encounter emboldens a profound truth. When paths of disobedience and self-interest obscure our journey, divine intervention, though seemingly severe, often comes with an opportunity for realignment and guidance toward righteousness. The angel's presence signified divine correction, a moment of recalibration meant to draw Balaam back into the protective bounds of God's will. Through this narrative, we gain insight into the dual nature of angels as both protectors and instruments of divine judgment. They serve to safeguard God's plans and ensure that his purposes prevail, often standing as formidable barriers against the tide of human ambition and folly. As we reflect on this encounter, it becomes evident that divine direction is not always a gentle nudge, but can also manifest as an unequivocal stop sign on the road of our lives, compelling us to pause, reconsider, and ultimately choose a path aligned with divine ordinances. In the story of Balaam and the angel, we find reassurance that even in moments where we falter, there is provision for correction and redemption. God, in his infinite wisdom, places these celestial guardians along our path to avert disaster, forewarn of spiritual pitfalls, and remind us of his ever-watchful presence. This assures us that divine guidance remains steadfast even when the journey seems daunting, affirming that angels, formidable as they may be, are also agents of God's enduring mercy and forgiveness. As we arrive at the end of our exploration into the most dangerous angels in the Bible, we find ourselves face to face with a profound truth. Angels act as agents of divine judgment and protection, manifesting the dual nature of their heavenly role. Throughout biblical history, from Genesis to Revelation, angels have emerged as symbols of God's omnipotent will, serving as both guardians of the faithful and executors of divine justice. The angels' role as instruments of God's judgment is evident in various narratives, each imbued with a sense of solemnity and consequence. In the prophetic visions of Revelation, angels hold the keys to final judgments, bringing about catastrophic events as part of God's ultimate plan for humanity. They sound the trumpets, pour out the bowls of wrath, and announce the coming end of the age, a stark reminder of their power and the gravity of their purpose. However, it's crucial to acknowledge that these celestial beings do not act independently. They are deeply aligned with God's purposes. This alignment highlights the balance within the divine order. Where there is judgment, there is also righteousness and protection. The angels' actions serve to fulfill divine promises, urging people towards repentance and renewal rather than mere destruction. It's in this duality, judgment and protection, that we see the full spectrum of the angels' responsibilities. Angels appear at pivotal moments, guiding individuals, delivering God's messages, and intervening in history. When the people of Israel faced insurmountable odds, it was angels of the Lord who offered protection and reassurance. When Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, it was an angel who shut the mouths of the lions, showcasing divine protection in its purest form. The angel that appeared to Balaam, sword drawn, epitomizes this dual nature. While serving as a stern sign of judgment for Balaam's disobedience, this angel also acted in protection of the people of Israel. This story, and many like it throughout the scriptures, reveal how angels enforce God's will while safeguarding those who are aligned with Him. It shows that divine intervention often involves both correction and support, reflecting God's desire to lead humanity towards His holy path. As instruments of divine will, angels serve as reminders of the presence and power of God in our lives. They stand as sentinels, unseen but profoundly impacting the world as it weaves through the threads of history to the unfolding fabric of prophecy. They are timeless cheerleaders of righteousness, yet they bring sobering realizations of the cost of turning away from divine decrees. This multifaceted nature of angels should prompt us to reflect deeply on our own standing with God. The reality of divine judgment seen through the actions of angels compels a self-assessment of where we align in the grand narrative of faith. Are we walking paths illuminated by divine protection, or do we tread in areas where we might meet the unforgiving face of judgment? Theologically, this requires an introspective evaluation of our faith commitments and moral choices. Spiritually, it urges an intimacy with prayer and thoughtful reflection, reminding us of the need to seek divine guidance as a guardrail for our life's journey. Practically, it calls us to mirror the angel's own fidelity to God by pursuing compassion and justice in harmony with divine truths. As we draw this discussion to a close, let the stories and images of angels in the Bible galvanize us to embrace their timeless lessons. Let them inspire, not fear, but hope. A hope rooted in the recognition of God's ultimate authority and the security found in His providential care. Through understanding the angels' roles, we find clarity in our calling, to live as messengers of God's love, agents of His peace, and faithful followers in a world yearning for the divine touch.